At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Learn more at asuonline.asu.edu.
AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. NFL Championship Sunday coming up. AFC, NFC Championship games. Great opportunity. Check in with our friend David Helman, LSU grad, now with The Athletic and the appropriately named The Athletic Football Show. Helman, what's up, man?
What's up, brother? Yeah, you know what you get with a name like that, right?
I always say, call a thing by its name. Call a thing what it is. So if it's The Athletic Football Show, just call it The Athletic Football Show. There is no ambiguity as to what you talk about. I want to start with the AFC, because I think the NFC is far more interesting of a game. So I want to get to that. But what should we expect from Jarrett Stidham?
I mean, I think anybody telling you they know for sure would be lying, right? I mean, we really just haven't seen that much of the guy. He got a start for the Raiders at the end of 2022 against the Niners team that was already gearing up for the playoffs. And 2 years ago when the Broncos were not good, they played him over Russell Wilson so they could avoid getting stuck in a situation where they owed Russell Wilson a lot of money. So, I mean, it's like 3 starts over however many years he's been in the league, which I think, he came in with the Patriots in like 2019. So it's been a minute. Having said that, if you go back and watch some of these games, especially the Broncos games a couple of years ago, I think it's going to look somewhat similar to what we've seen with Bo Nix. And what I mean by that is just Sean Payton is obviously the play caller, the play designer, the offense designer in Denver. I think when you watch Jarrett Stidham play for the Broncos, you see a lot of the similar concepts. I think the Broncos are going to live on the screen game. They're going to expect Stidham to be able to hit some throws over the middle of the field. The big difference for me is Jarrett Stidham's just not as good of an athlete as Bo Nix. I mean, Bo Nix's mobility and athleticism are a huge part of what makes the Broncos offense go. I don't think you're going to get as much of that with Jarrett Stidham. I think he's going to have to rely on his ability to win in the pocket a little bit more. But, watching him over those games I was talking about, I came out of it thinking, okay, I think Sean Payton can dial up enough to get the Broncos like 20 points. And from there, you're probably just banking on your defense to get the win. Now, is that going to happen against the potential MVP and Drake May? I don't know. But I came out of it thinking that Jarrett Stidham is probably good enough to make a go of this.
That's interesting. I was going to ask a follow-up of how much the Bo Nix injury, it obviously changes everybody's opinion on the game in some respect, but how much does the Bo Nix injury change your opinion on this game?
I mean, it does change it, right? Like Denver would be favored to win this game at home with Bo Nix. And look, Bo Nix is one of those guys, he invites a lot of debate. I think my LSU people listening to this remember Auburn Bo Nix and what a frustrating guy he was to play. And like I said, I think his athleticism helps him a lot, whereas he's not the most polished, pure quarterback. He still is, like, the whole package of what you get in Bo Nix is still really useful. Like I said, he gives you an element in the ground game. He avoids sacks. He can pick up third downs for you with his legs. All that stuff kind of goes away when you don't have him. And look, like I said, I mean, it hasn't always been pretty, but the Broncos have been good enough to win 14 games. And their offense has come through for them, particularly in the second half of the season. This is not a defense that's like dragged its team to this point. Bo Nix has been a big part of that. So I would pick Denver to win this game if Bo Nix was healthy. I lean more so Patriots now.
Yeah.
But I think Jarrett Stidham is good enough that this will be a game worth watching. Like, this isn't a game where the quarterback where Jarrett Stidham's just going to make this an unwatchable mess. I think it'll be better than that.
He's on Twitter at Dave Helman _ 1L on Helman. Hey, you mentioned the LSU guys, Keyshawn Boutte, Will Campbell, Caleb Chasson, all on the New England side. Any one of those you're in particularly excited to watch on Sunday?
I mean, there's two guys and it's like, yeah, go figure. The New England Patriots way up there in like Boston are the home for LSU in the NFL this year. But two guys really stand out to me. And you mentioned both of them. Caleb Chasson was, he was a top 20 pick, but he wasn't like a purely polished pass rusher when he got into the NFL. He landed in Jacksonville, and his career just did not go the way that he wanted it to. So much to the point where, like, he had a nice year last year. I think it was for Tennessee. And when he signed with New England, it was kind of like, I guess, whatever. Like, I guess you need bodies, right? And this Patriots team wasn't very good. But, man, he has developed into quite a player for this New England defense. Like, he's a fantastic run defender. He generates pressure. He's made some big plays in the pocket this postseason. So I'm really pumped for Caleb. And then Keyshawn Boutte. I mean, the arc that this guy's been on, right, where, like, we remember what he was like in 2020 and how he looked like he was going to be the next great. It went downhill from there every year at LSU to the point where we weren't even sure he was going to get drafted. And he's Drake May's like go-to big play guy now. And so just as an LSU alum, those two guys, like, obviously Will Campbell's great. We all knew that. But those two guys to sort of take this route to NFL success has been really fun to watch.
Yeah, it's going to be something, man. Jarrett Stidham and Drake May. No Mahomes, no Lamar, no Allen, no Burrow, no Herbert. It's a fascinating time. On the other side, this feels like a legacy moment for Matthew Stafford, right? I mean, what would getting to another Super Bowl mean for Stafford?
Man, I mean, I'm biased because I've loved Stafford. I loved Stafford when he was at Georgia. I thought he was better than he got credit for when he was in Detroit. And obviously he's had all the success in the world at LA. And so he's one win away from another Super Bowl. And it's hard to tell. I really don't know how it's going to go. But, like, if you're trying to read the tea leaves, Matthew Stafford was named first team All-Pro, which is not always an indicator that he's going to win MVP, but it certainly helps. And then the Pro Football Writers named him their MVP earlier this week, which it's a different award from the one they give out at NFL Honors. But if you're trying to read the tea leaves, this guy could be playing in his second Super Bowl and have an NFL MVP by the end of the month. And if even one of those things happens, I think you're talking about a pretty damn good case to reach the Hall of Fame, which when he won that Super Bowl in 2021, I think a lot of people kind of scoffed at that. I think, like, he's only been named to like 3 Pro Bowls in his career over the course, like, because of how much time he spent with the Lions. He doesn't have the amount of accolades that you would expect, but I think it would be justified. I mean, I like to call him your favorite quarterback's favorite quarterback. Just the way that he plays the position, the way that he can manipulate defenses, the confidence that he has, and the anticipation and the accuracy that he throws with. There are very few players that are more fun to watch than Matthew Stafford, and the ones that are the aliens, right? Like Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes. Like, Matthew Stafford is a pretty standard pocket passer. And my God, is he just pure adrenaline on a football field. So I think he's going to have a great shot to reach the Hall of Fame. And, I mean, especially if he gets this thing over the finish line. And nothing is guaranteed, but I think the winner of this Seattle-LA game is probably going to win the Super Bowl. I mean, these have been the best two teams in the league all year long for my money. I think whoever wins will be favored to win the Super Bowl. And if it's Stafford, you talk about 2 championships and maybe an NFL MVP. Yeah, that's a pretty good resume.
That does it. He's 6th all-time in NFL history in passing yards. The
volume stats speak for themselves. I mean, he's got a shot to retire top 5 in a lot of the big categories.
Yeah, you had a second Super Bowl and an MVP. I agree with you. Seattle's got a few key guys with injuries. We know Charbonnet won't play. Darnold's battling the the oblique thing. These two teams split the regular season. Both teams won at home. What do you think it takes for LA to go to Seattle and get a win?
I think they got to rediscover the offensive form that they had last time they were in Seattle. I mean, if you're not big into the NFL, or if you've been more focused on the recruiting trail with Lane Kiffin, which I don't blame you for, this is as good as it gets in the NFL. I mean, these are, like I said, these two teams are historically good by the numbers. Rams predominantly on offense. This Seattle defense has a chance to go down as one of the best of the last 20, 25 years. And it's going to come down to Stafford getting the better of them. I mean, the Seahawks pass rush is relentless. They go 9 deep probably. And their secondary just plays with one brain. And I looked this up today. The Seahawks are averaging 24 yards allowed over the middle of the field, 10-plus yards downfield. Like, you cannot throw against this team. And the one guy that's been able to do it is Matthew Stafford, who hit him for a ton of yardage in that classic Thursday nighter right before Christmas, 6 or 7 weeks ago, 5, whatever it was. And so his ability to do that again, basically, he's going to need to make 5 or 6 really high leverage throws. The Rams are going to need to cash in their scoring opportunities. I mean, this Seahawks defense they've been great all year, but really since that Rams game, they have been a buzzsaw. They hit the quarterback. They take the ball away. They are impossible to hit big plays against. And so how good is Stafford? How frequently can he connect with his receivers? Can the run game stay on schedule enough to give him a shot to make those plays? Oh, man. I mean, you said it already, Matt, but the 2 regular season games between these two teams were both must-see TV, and I don't know if I've ever been this excited for a playoff game that wasn't the Super Bowl before. It should be really, really good.
And that is a mouthful. It's going to be great. Theater hopefully lives up to the billing on Sunday. He's David Helman, The Athletic Football Show. Make sure you get him on Twitter at Dave Helman _1L on Helman. Thank you, dude.
Anytime, brother. Take care.
It's our pleasure. It's after further review. Yeah, that game in Seattle was, I just looked up the date. It was December 19th. Stafford threw for 457 in the game, and it went to overtime. The Rams scored a touchdown. Seattle answered with a touchdown, went for 2 and got it in 138-37. So the incredible theater. And anyway, it hopefully, I don't know that we see a repeat of that, but it's going to be 2 very close games. The Rams won in L.A. Seattle won the overtime game in Seattle, and now they play for a right to go to the Super Bowl. It's going to be, hopefully, great theater on Sunday. All right, it's after further review. Drink Evermore, EVAMOR, Evermore.com, Evermore.com. Always have my Evermore on set. Was disappointed yesterday being in Houston. Did not have Evermore for sale there at the gift shop in the Post Oak Hotel. Learned my lesson. Next time, I'll bring my own bottle of Evermore. But you can find Evermore at great local retailers with national distribution. So find the location nearest you at evermore.com, evermore.com, EVAMOR, evermore.com. I love when you all buy Evermore. You see it out in the wild. You take photos. You tweet me, Instagram, whatever, text line. Send me the photos. I always pass them on to Shane and the team over at Evermore. They're fired up to see it. But most importantly, do your own taste test. Drink it. Experience the difference. If you just think water is water and it all tastes the same, get a bottle of that crap that you've been drinking, then get a bottle of Evermore, do it side by side. You'll see the difference. EVAMOR, Evermore.com. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're with us here, y'all. We're not got a quick break. Top 100 players in 2026 for college football on threes. Put it out there. You don't really care about a list, but I think it's interesting what that list potentially tells us about the LSU roster and a lot of the players, quarterbacks in particular, LSU is going to face in 2026. We'll get to that. What would a trade look like for Keon Coleman if the Saints were able to pull it off? Got some thoughts there. Don't move. It's AFR.
After further review.
Y'all, in 2026, new year, new you. I keep saying it, but schedule a consultation over at Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. YourGoodwood.com. YourGoodwood.com. Funny name, I get it. Haha. The logo, all that stuff. It's supposed to be attention grabbing. It's supposed to get your attention, which it does. But mostly what's important is that you go have this conversation. And I'm not, listen, if you have ED, they have ED treatments. They have so much more than just that. Hormone replacement therapy, it can be a critical component to your overall health and well-being. It's time to have a blood test to learn if HRT could help you change the way you feel every single day. Men and women, by the way. It's a simple blood test. Like, I'm not a doctor. I don't purport to be. What I am encouraging you to do is go have the conversation. YourGoodwood.com, YourGoodwood.com. Ask about peptides as well. YourGoodwood.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at DecisionCriticalBR.com.
And thanks as always to Blazia and the team over at Decision Critical. Not just healthcare, it's healthcare for your lifestyle. Expertly trained nurses, only the best, and they are all over the state of Louisiana. DecisionCriticalBR.com. DecisionCriticalBR.com. ESPN.com took a stab at naming 68 starting quarterbacks for 2026, basically all the power conferences in Notre Dame. And I thought it was interesting because as we kind of project with rosters closer to being settled now, you've had the December signing period. The portal, for all intents and purposes, is settled. We now know early entrance to the draft. So, and with no December signing period and a reduced emphasis on the February signing period, for all intents and purposes, rosters are kind of locked now for next year. I mean, I guess you could always have a weird situation like what happened with Xavier Lucas from Wisconsin last year, who left and went to Miami. And so that could certainly happen. We're still watching what'll happen with Darian Mensah. What does a guy like Trinidad Chambliss do? Does he go into the draft, or does he return to Ole Miss? That's going to depend on what his draft projection is. So we'll see. But what I do think is so interesting is, as we sort of look at these rosters and you look at the quarterbacks that LSU is going to face next year, it's pretty interesting because, like, on three, for example, and again, it's a list. It's a totally subjective point of view. It's not meant to be a hard and fast rule for anything. It's just a perspective on what some respected organization thinks. They over at On 3 rank the top 100 players in college football for 2026. Now, it's January. We're not going to play football for 9 months, 8.5 months till they play football again. So a lot can change between now and then. We don't know. But for example, like, they have Sam Leavitt ranked as the 10th overall player in college football for 2026, and that's the highest ranking of any quarterback. Like, it's higher than Arch and higher than anybody else. It's literally the highest ranking for a quarterback for next college football season. So I think that's pretty fascinating. Well, they predict the starting quarterbacks for 68 college football teams. And when you look at LSU's opponents, for example, Clemson isn't going to face Cade Klubnik. They're going to face Christopher Vezina. Like, Christopher Vezina making his first career start on the road in Tiger Stadium, which is going to be a night game in an environment that's going to be bat bleep crazy for the inaugural game of the Kiffin era. Like, feel pretty good about LSU in that one. We're 9 months, 8.5 months away, but I feel pretty good about LSU in that matchup. I think about Arch making his first start in the Horseshoe, this year. That didn't go great. I mean, think about, a guy like Bryce Underwood making his first road start at Oklahoma this year. Didn't go super great, right? It's a hard thing to do. You're going to play Ole Miss and Trinidad Chambliss. If he's back, he'll be the starter. If not, it'll be Deuce Knight. And Deuce Knight is a really talented guy, but he started one game. It was against Mercer this year at the end of the season. A&M will have Marcel Reed back. Kentucky's got Kenny Minchey coming in from Notre Dame. And again, you're talking about a guy, Kenny Minchey, who is a redshirt junior. So you're going to fourth-year junior, but a guy who just hasn't played. He got beaten out at Notre Dame this year by C.J. Carr, went into the portal. So you're talking about a guy that is a veteran player, but hasn't played. Mississippi State, you're going to play them this year. Kamario Taylor is a sophomore. When Blake Shapen got hurt, Taylor took over late in the season. Shapen, has now left Mississippi State, so it's Taylor's show as a sophomore, but again, a young player. Auburn, Byron Brown coming in from South Florida, following their coach there, going from South Florida to Auburn. You're going to have continuity, but how does it translate from South Florida to the SEC is a fair question. Yeah, I think it'll be fine, but that is a question nonetheless. Alabama, is it going to be Austin Mack or Keelan Russell? I don't know. We've talked plenty about Alabama and all the things that they've lost, and the turnover they've had and the inability to sustain success. And I think, boy, that game in Baton Rouge is going to be a buzzsaw this year. And by the time you get to November, you would certainly hope that Kiffin's offense has totally hit its stride. You're going to play Texas, and they've got Arch Manning. Tennessee, does Joey Aguilar get the extra year of eligibility, or is it Ryan Staub? Remember Ryan Staub from Colorado? He was the backup who was going to take a visit to LSU until Husan Longstreet signed. Well, Staub ended up taking some other visits. He lands at Tennessee. He's sort of the Tennessee insurance plan if Joey Aguilar doesn't get that extra year. Well, that's a very manageable road game if you're facing Ryan Staub in November. And then Arkansas, it's likely going to be KJ Jackson. He's a former 3-star recruit. Could be KJ Jackson or AJ Hill would be the two options there, but let's assume it's KJ Jackson. All that to say, you could face Chambliss. You're going to face Arch. Aside from that, it's a lot of I don't know. I mean, Marcel Reed on the road at A&M, that's going to be a challenge. They were really good this year, and he'll be into his third year by that point. Byron Brown could be really good coming in from South Florida. He was outstanding at South Florida. Will it translate to the SEC? We'll see. Kenny Minchey, Kamario Taylor. I mean, just guys haven't played a lot. So it's a giant question mark all over the league at quarterback. And so I look at it thinking if you got the number one player in the transfer portal, a quarterback that's taken a team to the playoff already. If Sam Leavitt's healthy and delivers upon that expectation, I look up and down that list. I don't know, aside from a road game against Ole Miss, if Chambliss is playing, I don't know that I would give the quarterback edge to any team you're playing next year. I mean, Christopher Vizina from Clemson, no. Marcel Reed, he can be dynamic, but you've also seen issues like getting down 4 scores on your home field against South Carolina. I mean, is that not the greatest illustration of that paradigm? Getting down 4 scores and then in the second half rallying? I don't know, man. I get the feeling that the closer we get, and we got a long way to go. Again, I'm not previewing the 2026 season. This is more of taking an account, doing inventory here of what the rosters look like coming out of the portal cycle, now that it seems like rosters are set with no spring portal window, there's a lot of reason to believe you're just going to see a lot of expectation continue to build around LSU heading into 2026. All right, it's after further review. Now, we're brought to you by Supper Club, supperclubbtr.com. It's a website. Go get your reservations, supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com. Erica and I had our anniversary dinner at Supper Club this past Saturday. If you're celebrating an anniversary, Supper Club. Celebrating a birthday, Supper Club. Celebrating a promotion or anything in life, Supper Club. Remember, y'all, Valentine's Day, gents, is 3 weeks from Saturday. Now, they are already booked solid for Valentine's Day. You're not getting a table for Valentine's Day. And when I talked to Chef Layton earlier this week, they had a few spots left for Friday. But that whole week, I want to remind you as well that weekend is Mardi Gras weekend. That's Endymion and Bacchus and Orpheus. So Endymion is the same day as Valentine's Day. So a lot of people might be in New Orleans the weekend for Mardi Gras. Plan Valentine's earlier in the week. Go Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday night. Have your Valentine's. They're going to be celebrating Valentine's all month in February at Supper Club. So book your Valentine's dinner earlier in the week and then go to New Orleans for Valentine's Day and Endymion and all that sort of stuff. SupperClubBTR.com. SupperClubBTR.com. Check it out. SupperClubBTR.com. All right, it's after further review. When I got a break, come back. Jay Johnson is going to meet with reporters. This is a thing that's going to be music to a lot of people's ears. Jay Johnson will have his season introductory press conference on Friday. He's going to meet reporters. A day ago, Jay was at the Baton Rouge Rotary Club, so we are about to start to transition into talking more about LSU baseball as the Tigers are going to hit the practice field to begin their work for the 2026 season, hopefully in defending their title. Couple of notes on some pitchers from Jay. We'll get to that here in just a quick second. What might a trade for Keon Coleman look like for the New Orleans Saints? We'll touch on that. Jimmy will be here in 15 minutes for Outer Locks. Don't you move, it's AFR.
AFR.
Man, I love telling you about the Watermark and the Renaissance. Watermark downtown, Renaissance Southtown. Remember the Watermark downtown Baton Rouge? Baton Rouge's premier hotel property. Gorgeous, the original high-rise. Matter of fact, driving back from Houston today, coming over the bridge and looking to the north at downtown Baton Rouge, I could see the Watermark. It was cool to think about, I guess because I do this endorsement every day. It was cool to think about what that skyline looked like 100 years ago, without the state capitol and without a lot of the buildings that are there now. And when Watermark Baton Rouge was, the old Louisiana National Bank building was the original high-rise in downtown Baton Rouge. But they've maintained so much of that historical integrity. But listen, if you have an event coming up in 2026, have it at Watermark Baton Rouge. Remember, there's complimentary valet parking when you eat at the Gregory. It's a gorgeous spot to go. Watermark Baton Rouge.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at DecisionCriticalBR.com.
Kind of a wild story. Keon Coleman, from Opelousas, started his career at Michigan State, transferred to Florida State. LSU fans, unfortunately, remember that game in 2023 where he went off, had a great season. Second-round pick, 33rd overall of the Buffalo Bills. And, you've had now a coaching change with McDermott out. Well, Terry Pegula, who's the owner of the Buffalo Bills, was having a press conference and had some not so flattering things to say, to put it mildly, about Keon Coleman. Give a listen.
I'll address the Keon situation. The coaching staff pushed to draft Keon. I'm not saying Brandon wouldn't have drafted him, but he wasn't his next choice. That was Brandon being a team player and taking advice of his coaching staff who felt strongly about the player. And, he's taken, for some reason, heat over it and not saying a word about it, but I'm here to tell you the true story.
Okay, that's a great example of a billionaire that does not give one single F. And that sometimes happens with old people and rich people. And I love old people, and I love rich people, I love all people. But when you're old or rich, you tend to say whatever you want. And when you're old and rich, you really say whatever you want. That's Terry Pegula right there. Probably not the best thing to say. And in essence, really showed his cards, and now everyone in the NFL is assuming with that, they're trading Keon Coleman. He's had 2 seasons in Buffalo as a rookie, 29 catches for 556 yards and 4 touchdowns. This year, it was 38 catches for 404. His yards per catch average a year ago was 19.2. This year was down to 10.6. I mean, Keon Coleman, 6'4", 215. His 40 time at the combine was like a 4.57, and so he kind of got dinged for that. So some people were surprised to see him go 33rd overall. But here you have the owner who also, who is degrading one of his players. Everyone is here making the assumption now that Keon Coleman is done in Buffalo. They're going to trade him. Well, there's a lot of teams that need receiving help, and the Saints are right there on that list, and we're going to talk about what this means. As a matter of fact, Ross Jackson has a piece up at LouisianaSports.net where he does explore the possibility of a Keon Coleman trade. And I keep thinking about Devon giving up a 4 for Devon Vele, but what's interesting is most of the projections here, if you peruse the interwebs, are looking at potentially like a late day 3 pick for a guy like Keon Coleman, which is weird because the Saints gave up a 4 for Devon Vele. I mean, that feels like a steep price for a player of that caliber to now turn around and get a former high second-round pick, potentially for a late day 3 pick. But if you can get Keon Coleman in his prime at 23 years old, I'm sorry. Keon Coleman's 22 years old. He will be 23 in May. So you're talking about a dude still growing into his prime, coming to play in potentially his home state, roughly 2 hours. Opelousas, roughly 2 hours from New Orleans. I mean, in an offense where you were desperate for playmakers on the outside, where you went into the end of the season with respect, but I mean, Kevin Austin and Mason Tipton. I mean, what are we talking about? Now, I hope Jalen Polk comes off an injury and is really good. I hope Devon Vele can continue to build and grow and develop. I hope Chris Olave can consistently be a high-level performer. But those are all questions at this point. I'd love to see New Orleans go into the draft and use the 8th overall pick on Carnell Tate or Jordan Tyson. I'd love to see that, to get a true game breaker. I'd love to see him maybe go spend in free agency and get I don't think it's realistic to get a George Pickens or someone like that. But if there's an opportunity to get great value on Keon Coleman, because if you're going to pay Chris Olave $30 million a year, which it sounds like they are going to do, and I'm going to say it again, I am not in favor of that, but it sounds like that is what they are going to do. So if you're going to pay Chris Olave $30 million a year, you're not paying 2 guys that. So Keon Coleman is still on a rookie contract. He's got 2 years left on a rookie deal. You can get a guy like that on a rookie contract for a couple of years, maybe get, change of scenery and a motivated guy and a different body style at 6'4", 215 than Chris Olave for a day 3 pick. I run to Buffalo to hand them the contract for the trade compensation. Do it immediately. That'd be awesome. It's one to watch if the Saints could maybe make a deal to bring Keon Coleman back to his home state after Terry Pagula stepped in. And look, I mean, the part about Pagula making the comments he did is like you lose your leverage because you no longer really have the option of keeping this player after you say what you said about him. So everyone knows that, so they're going to lowball you. And I'd lowball him. Offer a late day 3 pick, see if you can score a player that they don't want, that they want out the door, and who might be able to help benefit your offense. All right, tap to further review. Thursday shows are brought to you by Decision Critical. Say it every week, not just healthcare for your lifestyle. I love telling you about Blasia and her team because they're awesome. They're awesome to work with. Expertly trained nurses that come in-home. Maybe you're having surgery and you need post-operative care. Their nurses can actually come to the hospital while your physician or your surgeon gives the post-operative care instructions and can help carry out those orders at home. So I even say it, if you're a physician, you should be recommending Decision Critical to your patients. If you're not already and you want to have a meeting with Blasia, she and I have talked about this a ton. If you're a physician and you're not already recommending your patients to Decision Critical, have a meeting with Blasia and let her explain maybe more what they do and how it can benefit. Because if you're a physician, like, your goal should be keep your patients out of the hospital. Well, a big part of that is carrying out your orders at home. Well, the nurses at Decision Critical can help do that. DecisionCriticalBR.com, DecisionCriticalBR.com. I know it says BR, but they're all over the state. Their nurses are literally in every corner of the state and in their Dallas office now as well. DecisionCriticalBR.com. Jay Johnson's going to meet with reporters tomorrow around lunchtime, so be on the lookout for that. One of the things that I think is going to be fascinating is this pitching staff, depth, talent, oh my goodness, and what guys from a year ago are ready to take that next step. At the Baton Rouge Rotary Club on Wednesday, Jay kind of gave a little peek behind the curtain there.
I don't want any of our players this year to try to be anybody from last year. But I will tell you, I think we have some guys ready to take another step in their development. You know, Kason Evans was a huge part of last year, and I think he's poised to take another jump and be like a contributor like Anthony. You know, William Schmidt, you know, he went 7-0 last year as a freshman. And because he had so much expectation, because, you know, he turned down some money, decided he just wanted to come play college baseball. Like, that wasn't maybe good enough for some of you. Like, that's a great freshman year. He's ready to take another step. We have a transfer from the University of Kansas named Cooper Moore, who's, you know, undersized right-hander, but super competitive, just fills up the strike zone. There's a number of candidates that are going to take a nice step forward this year.
Very good chance that Jay Johnson just told you his weekend rotation, at least to start the season. Evans, Moore, Schmidt. Evans, Schmidt, Moore. Could be how they start it. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So we'll get a full rundown from Jay when he meets with reporters lunchtime on Friday. Of course, when we're back here, Terry will be here on Friday. We'll talk plenty about what Jay Johnson has to say as we start to till the soil for the 2026 LSU baseball season, which we're really excited about. All right, it's after further review. Now I got our final break. Jimmy will be here for Auto Locks to wrap it up next. Stick around.
AFR.
REV, Let's Rev. Let'sRev.com, Let'sRev.com, Let'sRev.com. 70,000 homeowners and business owners in South Louisiana trust Rev, and you should as well. For your high-speed internet, cable, telephone, home automation, all of it. They're local. When you call Rev and you talk to one of their representatives, you're talking to someone here in South Louisiana. It's not an overseas call center. It's not AI. It's human beings who live and work and play in Louisiana. REV. Let'sRev.com, Let'sRev.com, Let'sRev.com. I'm fired up because they finally finished laying the fiber in my neighborhood, so I now have the option for an all-fiber high-speed internet network in my home, and we are switching immediately. REV. Let'sRev.com, Let'sRev.com. Check them out online, y'all. Let'sRev.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at DecisionCriticalBR.com.
Down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Thursday edition of AFR, presented by Decision Critical. Remember, if you miss anything, AFR On Demand, presented by Breck Golf. Book your tee time, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org. Kat Terrell was here in hour one. Chris Doring was here in hour two. Talked about LSU's transfer portal class, some other SEC general transfer portal stuff. David Helman from The Athletic was here earlier this hour, kind of giving a little thumbnail preview of Championship Sunday in the NFL. Right now, though, let's find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance AC Repair. Same-day service means you will never sleep hot. 480-1000. We are Total Maintenance.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
Yo, Otter, what up?
Oh, 6-0 run by Washington gets us by the hook, and Nebraska to cost us the win tonight. But besides that, everything's wonderful. So let's get to the picks tonight.
Let's get it. We're ready for Otter Locks.
Very light night college basketball. One Power 5 matchup. We're going to take the home dog, Penn State Nittany Lions at home plus 5.5 against the visiting Wisconsin Badgers. Public drove it up a little bit because they had that high-profile win in Ann Arbor against Michigan. We're going to take Penn State there. And then we got the Gucci's on a heater.
Let's
First
go.
of all,
the Gucci.
The first time in 4 years, he has given us a prop bet. Anytime scorer for the Montreal Canadiens, Cole Caulfield. Up plus 150 right now. At if you click on the game, you go right down, scroll. He's like the shortest price, but he did not like the
Cole
game.
Caulfield, you said?
Cole Caulfield. Plus 150, I believe, anytime scorer.
Plus 150 anytime scorer.
Yeah.
Let's go, Kikuchi.
And then he's got two dogs. Both were plus 130 when I fired them in the hunt earlier. And that is the Boston Bruins, home dog. And
Detroit.
So there should be plus 130, Matt.
Yep, plus 130.
And then he's got the Detroit Red Wings on the road tonight. So kind of the way I like to handicap too. Both teams that are playing above their overall resume, so kind of on a good little streak. So playing better than their overall record, so getting a little value. And those lines have crept up a little bit. When he gave them out today, they were like 120 and 125. Both were 130 when I texted them to Hunt. Not sure what they are now.
Boston's at plus $1.30. Detroit is plus $1.36 right now. So,
there you go.
Both good numbers, man. Don't be a moron.
Chalk early dogs like go Jay!
Hey, where are you tomorrow?
I don't know. Let's take a guess.
Oh, it's
Friday.
Friday, Rufino's. Yes, Friday, Rufino's. Awesome spot to go on a Friday. Have a little steak.
Yes.
Steak and potatoes for lunch. It's one of my favorite Friday spots to go every now. I try about once a month to pop in and see you guys. Actually, just to go eat a really good steak and potatoes for lunch.
Isn't it cool when I first came over in January of 2012? So I started doing the shows with Derek and Charlie down in New Orleans for that Alabama LSU game. And Ruffin, God bless his soul, but we're like, we're going to try this. Good. We're going to put y'all on Friday lunch. We're going to try this Friday lunch thing, see if it works. They'd never been open for lunch. Well, what are we on now? We, I don't know. How long ago is that?
13 years?
Yeah, that's 15 years.
14 years. 14 years. 14.
Yeah, 14.
Yeah.
14. Yes, I'll take the over 13. I'll take the under 15. Give me a middle. So anyway, yes, still got it going. It is fun, man. It's kind of like everybody gets their weekend started. So it's a good time. So come by and see us over at Rufino's for lunch tomorrow.
Sounds good. All right, Otter. Good luck. Thank you.
Good luck, buddy.
All right. Jimmy's got Penn State plus 5.5 on the hardwood. And then the Gucci. Boston Bruins, Detroit Red Wings, and Cole something or other from Montreal as an anytime score. Plus, I bet it. You going against the Gucci? I ain't going against the Gucci.
Otter said he's hot, too.
Oh, he's been on it.
He's hot.
He is about last Thursday. The Gucci saved the Otter. Rough night last Thursday. I think Otters still, we're feeling our way a little bit in college basketball. A little bit still. So, and I'm ready for the Otter to start dealing out some NBA picks, too. That's been a little slow.
Yeah.
So,
no, it'll pick up after March Madness for sure with the NBA.
Yeah, that's true.
Otter's good for the NBA playoffs, man.
And then, by then, you're going to start getting toward opening day for baseball, too.
Yeah?
So we're going to be on it, man. Shoot.
And then he'll go to Del Mar for a month. We won't hear from him.
Cussing waitresses and whatnot.
Yeah.
Not him cussing waitresses. I mean, waitresses cussing live on the air. Jimmy was at Del Mar one time. If you missed that, he was doing the segment, giving us his picks, and a waitress came by and like cussed at him. I don't think it was like they were talking. She used a curse word. She didn't curse at him.
It wasn't that out.
Yeah, it was just like it was like it's live on air. That's why I said cussing waitresses. So anyway, all right. It's after further review. Quick reminder about Parish Restoration. ParishRestoration.com. ParishRestoration.com. Remember, with all the rain we've had in these past few days, if you have water intrusion, chances are you just noticed it. Chances are that didn't just start. So you've probably had water, you hate to say it, but pooling in certain places. Maybe you're just noticing the water spot on your ceiling. It might already have been in your insulation. You could have mold, like you can have mildew and all that nastiness. Call Parish Restoration. Come by. They'll always give you a free estimate, but they'll spray their patented non-toxic dry fog. Got mold, they'll get rid of it. Odor, they'll get rid of it. It doesn't matter odor from pets or smoke or mold or mildew or whatever it may be. Sweat. You got a gym, a workout facility. Stinks because all the sweat in there all the time. You want to knock that out? Easy. Have Parrish come by. They'll spray. ParrishRestoration.com. ParrishRestoration.com. Okay, y'all. That is just about going to do it for us here on this Thursday edition of AFR presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Tomorrow, Terrio's here. We will have I will be at Jay Johnson's presser tomorrow. So we'll hear from Jay as he kind of sets the table for the 2026 baseball season. And there's just going to be a tremendous amount of expectation. Not sure if you saw it earlier this week, but the preseason odds for the College World Series are out, and LSU is the betting favorite to win the College World Series. That shouldn't be a great surprise. They're the defending champ, and they're also, I would argue, more talented this year than they were a year ago. I mean, it was an incredible job by Jay and his staff last year to get that team to and through Omaha and hoist a second trophy in 3 years. This is a team that'll carry a ton of expectations, and they'll let the practice field get started tomorrow, so we'll have it all covered for you. All right, it's going to do it for us here. Muse Pauly, thanks. Y'all have an awesome night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
And as we get on down the road, I'll remind you about the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, 924-2020. If you want to see 2020, call 924-2020. You know, there's more than just LASIK to get out of contacts, glasses, readers. At the Williamson Eye Center, you know, modern vision correction has so many options for distance, if you're nearsighted, if you have an astigmatism. You know, even for people who told that before you weren't a candidate, there have been so many advancements in ophthalmology that you could be a candidate now. So schedule that free consultation. Discover which procedure fits your eyes, your lifestyle. You can do virtual or in-person consultations. They're available. You can learn more. You can book today at WilliamsonEye.com. WilliamsonEye.com.